third reason is Rohrabacher himself. Like I said, we've got volumes. It's unbelievable, the amount of articles. And I don't have to do a dirty campaign, not at all. I can just display newspaper articles and that's enough, right? I can let the Washington Post, the LA Times, New York Times, and the San Jose Mercury say the whole story without me adding anything to it. And that's enough, you know, to paint if you saw all of these articles. And like I say, we're going to put those together in this dossier, put it in PDF format and get it out to the world, you know, over the internet and so forth. So that is the biggest asset we've got, is Rohrabacher himself. Then the fourth reason is because we have the best campaign in the country. We really do. We have the best staff with Millihat and running it, and then Sarah Perch, she's here, right? Yeah. Directing the communications with all of her experience in that area. And then Laura Reichert, who was, some of you may not know, she was a campaign manager for Marcy Winograd's campaign up in the South Bay. And that was a super successful campaign in the sense that Jane Harman was an embedded Democrat, and she stepped over the line for the progressives in that area. They felt this isn't going to work, and Marcy ran against her and got 40% of the vote in a Democratic primary. I mean, that's unbelievable. And so she had a good strategy and a good field plan, and that's who's designed our field plan here. And she's narrowed it down to the 80,000 voters that we need to hit. And unfortunately, not many of them are Democrats, because our challenge here is the registration. And we have to focus on the independents, the declined to state voters, and moderate Republicans. And so she's identified 80,000 that all of our focus is going to go after, and we need to get 15,000 of those 80 to change their mind. And we're going to do that by getting to them between 7 and 11 times between now and the election. And we know which ones are registered for vote by mail, so we have to get to them by October 9th. You know, and then the other ones by November 7th. All those different times. But it's well organized, and fortunately that I come from the IT industry, we've got the best website and manage the whole campaign on the back end of that website. And that's critical for a lot of reasons, but it gives us a presence all the way across the district. We have our voice over IP phone system, so we got phone numbers in Palos Verdes and Costa Mesa and Long Beach, you know, and we're able to do that on a real low budget because of the technology. Then the website itself, we have the entire voter database loaded on the back end of the website. And within 2 weeks, we're going to, in addition to our field plan, we're going to have a virtual phone bank so that anyone that's registered on our website can just click and bring down the next 10 people that we need called. And call them and key in the results of the call, and that's it. Now, I have a lot of friends from Northern California, from Texas, from Florida, from Washington, D.C. when we did the event there, that are willing to make the calls. So we're going to reach those 80,000 people by dropping literature, walking precincts, calling, tabling. Anyway, that's the point I want to make is it's well organized, it's thought through, we have the right staff, we're executing it, and we're going to get to those people. So those are the reasons. Now, the message itself, of course, has some degree of importance too, right, in all of this. That's the facility to get it out. We have 4 priorities. The first one is national security and separating the war in Iraq from the war on terrorism. And in this district, I really believe the symbol, or the key, is the ports. They impact the entire district so many different ways that they illustrate the lack of federal leadership. So it's so easy to point it out to people that I tend to use that a lot as a symbol of what's going on. But national security is the first issue. The second one is energy independence. I believe so strongly that energy will be the cause of World War III if we're not real careful. It caused World War II. It's caused the war we're in now. And we're losing in this battle, I believe. And we're for a lot of reasons. And so, because of of the press and what's on people's minds, I have to make national security the top priority because that's what people expect. What I believe in my heart, the most important is energy. And I believe that we need an Apollo-like program to become fossil fuel independent by 2020 and independent of Middle East oil by 2015. That's doable. There are lots of groups that have done the studies and feel that that can be done. And that's important for a lot of reasons. National security is one. And probably you have to say that's the most important because without it, not much else matters. But then you have the environment, you have the costs to people of gasoline and so forth. But there are, and there are other things. Because if you put a program together like that, and all of the people that we've talked to indicated that it would take a new infrastructure, regardless of which alternative fuel is selected. And I really don't want to get into that argument because I'll let the scientists and the engineers, let's get the best talent in the world here. And just provide the leadership to get the funding and the drive to do it. Okay. Regardless of any of them that are selected, it's going to take a whole new infrastructure across the country. Now, if we have a Democratic Congress, and if we get a Democratic president in 2008, then we can have the regulations that you can't outsource the manufacturing. So we could create over 3 million high-paying jobs in the United States. And the biggest challenge to the whole plan isn't the money. It really isn't. It would cost about 1/3 of what we're paying in Iraq right now. You know, and they do that off budget. You know, and I'm not minimizing it, but I'm saying if they try to use that as the excuse, that's not it. Our biggest challenge is the talent. Our education system is not producing the talent like it was.
Bring them in from Brazil.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they did
That's true.
But we have got to put an infusion in our education system. And I think the federal government needs to be a leader in this. And it should almost get to the extreme, like to do a draft like the NFL does. You know, the top high school students in the country in math and science, they should be funding them and putting them in the best universities. And we need to develop these people. We need to make it, give it prestige and give incentives for kids that are in junior high to start studying these disciplines. And, you know, we should be able to compete with the NBA on this kind of, I mean, what's more important? President Kennedy, when he did the Apollo project, we saw what could be done if there was federal leadership. I believe the United States taxpayer is the greatest venture capitalist in the history of the world. You know, if we look at what they've done with the Apollo project, with the internet, as soon as they got it going, and it took the federal government to get it going, private industry jumped in, right? And together, but we attracted the best talent in the world to do those things. And that's what we need now. And what's more important than becoming fossil fuel independent? You know, whether you want to clean up the environment or whether you want national security, you want to feel safe, all those things. So we need that same type of leadership now for that. So that's my second priority. Then healthcare. Healthcare. Now, I hit that one on a little different level because, again, I'm faced with the challenge of being in a heavy Republican district. Well, when you're on the right side of an issue and you believe in it in your heart, then you can present it lots of different ways, comes up with the same solution, you know, that we've got to have it. When I talk to the owners of these businesses that are right in Orange County about healthcare, they admit that they cannot compete, especially any of them involved with importing and exporting and so forth. They cannot compete with Europe, with Asia, with Canada because of healthcare. They just can't do it. The costs are going out of sight, and they have to offer good benefits to attract the kind of talent that will make them competitive. So I can sell them on universal health care. But it's important, and we have to drive at it from just this is what we're trying to solve, and come up with a solution to do it. You know, and I don't call Bush a liar, and I don't do all these things because that isn't going to get me anywhere. No. I don't care about all that. We have, as progressive Democrats, we've got these things we want to do, and health care, energy independence, and to be safe.